What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Melissa, and I think today I want to make a bracelet with some of these, not all of them, but so I'm just going to take them off the string here, and I'll go through the process of how I design or figure out how I'm going to make a bracelet. So I'm going to use my design board here. I already have 2 crimp beads over here. I picked out some silver tone beads, some hematite beads, and some, these are black onyx 6mm. I probably won't be using them all, but I just have them already. These are silver plated little skulls. Okay, so first I'm going to lay out my beads, kind of get a feel for what kind of pattern I'm going to use. So a lot of times my bracelets, I'll make it like a 4-inch beaded strip, and then I'll add links and little components to bring it the rest of the length of my bracelet, just to give it some character and to look a little more interesting. I'll lay out my beads here. The silver beads are a little bit smaller than the hematite beads, so I think I'll graduate my beads by size. Silver beads must be 3mm, and then 4mm hematite, 6mm black onyx, and then I'll go down. I'll just repeat that pattern. Looks kind of cool, I think. If I make my bracelet or the beaded strip about 4 inches, that'll give me 3 skulls on this bracelet, so that's perfect. I like odd numbers. I'll add little links to the bracelet to make it the desired length that I want. Alright, so that's my little design for the beaded bracelet part. So let me go ahead and string those. I have 49 strand beading wire, so it'll be nice and thick and sturdy. So I'm gonna cut off like 6 inches, give myself plenty of room to work with. I'm going to feed my little crimp bead on. Create a little loop so I can attach my links. This is a crimp tool, if you don't already have one. They're handy to have around. The inside gap is like a kidney bean shape, and then there's an oval. So I do the kidney bean shape first, and then I do the outer oval second. Kind of fold it over. And then I use my outer edge to smash it down. Next, I'm going to feed my beads on. Hopefully the hole is big enough where I can tuck this loose end. Sometimes the holes aren't big enough, so I'm going to trim it real close. Just bead them on one by one. Okay, so I think that's gonna be really cute. Yeah, let's finish this side. Bead the crimp bead on. Bead wire is not gonna fit through the bead. Gotta bring it down alongside the bead. Make sure they're nice and snug, but not too snug so it bends freely. Try to make both the loops equal in size. Just pull that through a little bit. Give that a crimp. Smash it down nice and tight. Cut off the excess. that part's done. So now I'm going to add some figure 8 links to finish it off. So I already made some pre-made figure 8 links out of my titanium enameled copper wire. It's 18 gauge. All right, let me add a couple on either end. Oh. Close that a little too aggressively. When you open these links, pull it out to the side, not out. Or else they'll get all misshapen. You know what? I want to put a little bead link next. I'm going to use some 20 gauge titanium enameled copper wire as well. So let me make a little bead link. Thanks for being patient with me as I figure this out. I usually design on the fly. It's like, oh, I want to do this, so I changed my mind. That's what makes this craft so much fun. You can do whatever you want, whatever you think looks the best. So I think I'm going to make my bead links out of the hematite beads, which are the 4mm. Guys, make sure my loops are going the same way. There's one. I'll attach it in a second. Make the other one for the other side. Attach these two and see where we're at as far as length. Make sure that's nice and tight so your little bead link doesn't slip through there. Squeeze these together a little bit more. Just a little bit. There, nice and snug. Okay. So I have a little ruler down here. About 6.5. I usually make about a 7.5. So I think once I put a couple more bead links on, that will be good as far as length. So let's check that out. Or not. What did I say? Bead links? I meant once I put a couple of these figure 8 links on, that we should be good as far as length. So I'm gonna make sure it's nice and tight so that bead link doesn't sneak through. Make sure the other side is tight as well. Perfect. We're a little over 7, so once I add my swan clasp, we should be at a perfect length. I need to make a swan clasp really quick. I don't have them pre-made, so let me grab some wire. Which is right here, 18 gauge titanium, and for the swan clasps, it takes me about 2 inches. Let me flush cut this. I use 2 inches of wire. This brings me about here. To make my swan clasps, I make a swirl. Start it off nice and tight. I'll even kind of smoosh this down a little bit. So I grip it with my flat nose pliers and tease it around to make a nice swirl. Going a little too far. Let me bring this open again. Okay, so when I get underneath my spiral like this, I'm gonna need a little gap to get my link through, so I'm gonna grab it with my round nose pliers right at the end there so I can make a gap just like that. And the rest I'm gonna bring over the top. Then take my round nose pliers and bring it back. Just like that to make the loop. And then right at the end, tip of the beak, I kind of curve upward, just like that. The tip's just a little sharp, so I'm going to need to file that down. All right, found a file. This is the first thing I saw. This is a metal file. You can use a nail file. It might be a little rough on your nail files, but a metal nail file should work. I even have sharpening stones, which work pretty well. You just need to get the sharp edges off. So that's good. So you just pick a side and attach it. All right, there's your clasp. You can clasp it at the end here. Oh, first let's see how long it is. Bring the camera down. It's like a 7 3/4. So the reason why I add all these extra clasps, or figure 8 links I should say, is that people can attach it there. If they want it a little tighter, they can attach it here. They can even the little tiny wrist, they can attach up here. And then if somebody needs it even longer, it is really easy to add extra figure 8 links to the end. So that's why I really like this design for that. So that's what that looks like on. Really cute. I really like that. And I put it in one on the inner part of the figure 8. If you want to get fancier, you can put dangles on. I can show you real quick here. I'll grab some 20 gauge. So what I do is I make a tiny loop. Make an itty bitty loop and smush it down as tight as you can. Make a little tiny lollipop. I'll use a hematite bead again. I'll just make a little bead dangle. You can even use 22 gauge for this, since you're not putting any stress on the metal, you know, as far as being a component in the bracelet. But I have 20 gauge sitting right here, so that's what I use. 22 gauge would look a little daintier. Let's see, where do I want to hang this off of? The very end? Maybe, yeah, maybe I'll hang it off the very end here. Sometimes I'll put a little dangle on each segment of the figure 8 links, maybe even 2. Depends on how fancy I want my bracelet to be. But since this is a Halloween skull bracelet, I don't want it too too fancy, but I want it to have some cute components just to finish it off nicely. So there's the little bead dangle that hangs off the end. It's a nice little touch. This bracelet is all finished. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up down below. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Make sure to subscribe because I make a new video each week. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.